Our own Farmer Dave is here to explain it all to us. Good morning, Farmer Dave.
Hey, good morning, McGraw.
All right, so the story over the weekend, you've been following this now for a couple months, but it has to do with Monsanto's Ready Roundup. So take us from the beginning. What's going on with soybeans, and why is it such a controversy here in the Midwest?
All right, well, this kind of backs up a little bit to all the way back into the spring, and it's not so much the Roundup. It's a herbicide called dicamba is the one that is causing the problem. The cotton growers, and this is in about 10 states, but southeast Missouri has about 50,000 acres, from what I understand, that have some degree of damage from the dicamba. Dicamba is a herbicide used mostly on cotton up to this point. It's been around for a long time.
Okay.
But then they came along and they came up with the new dicamba-resistant soybeans from Monsanto, and it's used dicamba in crops with Roundup Ready 2 Xtend soybeans or Bullguard 2 Xtend Flex cotton. Well, it wasn't approved to be used on soybeans because several of the EU countries said it hasn't been approved here yet, we're not buying it.
Okay.
So they were advised not to use it.
You mean farmers here in Missouri were told not to use it?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, there's several states where this has become an issue.
And and we're still talking soybeans here.
Soybeans.
Okay.
Right.
Got it.
That's where the damage is,
Okay.
in the soybeans.
Got it.
So they used it, and it is a dicamba. They're coming out with a new variety of dicamba, which is going to be low volatility. It's going to have this vapor, what they call vapor grip, which eliminates drift. And drift simply is, if you spray your garden hose into the air, you see the water just kind of move with the air.
Sure.
It's the same thing with the chemicals. As they spray it on, you get drift. Well, dicamba, the old version of dicamba, has a terrible drift record.
Okay.
So some of the farmers went off-label and used it, which basically means they used it for something the label didn't say they should use it for.
Got it.
All right. So they're saying, all right, one agronomist says there's not a farmer in the world that can plead ignorance on this particular case.
Because every farmer knew what they were doing.
Right.
Okay.
They knew what they were doing. So it drifted. It's affected some peanuts. It's affected some watermelon crops that they're still investigating to see if it had an impact on that as well. So now what happens is my neighbor Joe, he uses it. He knows it's illegal, but he does it. He sprays it on his cotton. It drifts over on my beans and kills my beans. It makes uncomfortable at the coffee shop if you sue your neighbor.
Right. Well, and just and who? Yeah. Where do you go from there? Now, if you, me, and Kelly all have farms next to each other, and I spray this stuff and it kills Kelly's crops, do you know that I sprayed it, or can you tell who sprayed it on whose yard?
Well, yeah. You're going to know which way it came from.
Right.
It kind of depends on. If the east side of my field's all dead, there's a pretty good shot somebody east of me sprayed it.
Right.
Now they say that this dicamba, the old variety of dicamba, is like a vapor, and it actually can skip across the field. It can hit in one spot and kill some, bounce off of it, drift to another part of the field, kill part of that, and then drift off to it. The thing of it is, if you're caught, you know what you get fined? You know what the fine is for doing it?
What?
Maximum penalty, $1,000.
What?
Okay, so how much damage has been done by these farmers illegally using this? Is it a pesticide?
Herbicide.
Herbicide. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's for
we
plants.
don't have a dollar number because there's different. One guy I talked to down in the Boot Heel yesterday. He thinks that it's probably 10 or 20 acres or 10 or 20 bushels per acre damage. So let's say his beans would have done 50. Say 10 of it's gone at $9, give or take.
And
so that's $90 an acre $100 an acre that he's losing because of it.
And where are they seeing this again? In parts of Missouri?
Down in the Boot Heel mostly, Arkansas. Mostly where we're hearing about it and seeing most of it is down in there where there's cotton and soybeans together.
Do we have any
in the South?
Do we have any idea, Farmer Dave, of how many farmers used it illegally? I mean, are we talking 10? Are we talking hundreds? Are we talking thousands? Do we have any idea?
We don't know how many farmers. Right now in the Boot Heel of Missouri, they're talking about 55,000 acres.
Have been affected by somebody illegally.
To some degree.
Yeah. Illegally using this herbicide.
Right.
So what's the out? I mean, where does the farmer go seek justice if their crop has been damaged by somebody else down the street?
Well, there's talk of a class action lawsuit, and that's always the first thing that comes up. You know, who is at blame? Did Monsanto release this product before it was approved and shouldn't have been used? You know, where does the blame fall? Now, they say that Monsanto actually told farmers that when they bought it, that they shouldn't, you know, that it's not approved and you should not use it. So where does the does the blame fall?
Well, let me ask you this question. If you weren't using it for this, why was Monsanto selling it? What were the approved reasons you could use this herbicide?
Well, they didn't. They said it's not approved. If you're
right, but was Monsanto selling it, or was somebody else selling it using Monsanto's formula?
Well, Monsanto had released it to several other companies, the technology. When Monsanto debuted Xtend soybean technology in 2016, seed sales were accompanied with concise and clear warning. Do not apply dicamba yet. Xtend crops are designed to withstand it, but with no label approval for a new formulation. The herbicide tolerance is technically academic. See, there's going to be that question.
Right.
That's what they're going to try and prove in court.
Right.
Should this have even been released without approval?
Well, Monsanto.
You know, that's kind of like selling you a car and then saying, all right, here's the car, but don't drive it.
Well, or is it saying, here's a car, don't drive it off a cliff? It wasn't made to be driven off a cliff.
Right.
Yeah.
So where does Monsanto says, hey, we told them not to use it or not to do it. I don't know.
Is this, Farmer Dave, how big of a story is this? Is this sort of consuming all of rural Missouri? I mean, is this the topic of conversation? How big of a story is this?
It would be in the Boot Heel.
Down there, yeah.
See, we don't grow much cotton. Any cotton in this part of the world, and that seems to be where the biggest part of this was. They used it on cotton and it drifted over on the beans. That seems to be right now where the biggest part of it is, and some of it still comes off of it being used on beans that weren't dicamba resistant. So that's where it all kind of comes down.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's why he's Farmer Dave, and that's why he's on from 5 to 6 each weekday morning. And then you still doing the Saturday show, or what's going on there?
Oh yeah, we're on Saturday mornings most Saturdays when I think about it. Yeah, from 6 to 7. 6 to 7.
How's the
6 to 7?
How's the Althoff football team doing this year?
Undefeated.
Undefeated, huh? Who's their play-by-play man?
Me. No, I'm not the play-by-play. I'm the color guy.
Oh, you're the color guy. Okay.
Yeah, Coach Glenn Schott does the play-by-play. I'm like, hey, Coach, it's a beautiful evening here at the Lindenwood University. I like their blue uniforms tonight.
You don't call him the best color man in the business for nothing. Ladies and gentlemen,
that's right.
Farmer Dave taking a whole bunch of listeners to the Rose Bowl parade, courtesy of Altair Travel and Cruises. Farmer Dave, thanks for the insight. See you soon.
We'll keep you posted.
Thanks, buddy. 729 here, Big 550, KTRS. I love Farmer Dave, the way he explains things.
He is great. Yes, he breaks it down. You can easily understand it.
Really.